Yes, people, what's going on? We're back. We are back. This is the first episode we're doing of this whole factory, like we're doing since December. We had Mr. 5000 the last time. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I've been lazy. I have no excuse, but it's all good. We're back anyway. Just a little housekeeping before we get going. First of all, thanks to everyone who's joined the stream. Obviously, the whole Rona situation. Like us as the organizers of the Tekken 254 circuit are monitoring the whole thing. We're going to be making a formal announcement soon. Qualifier 3 was meant to be later this month, but obviously now there's a 3-week restriction on movement into and out of Nairobi and other areas. So I will be making an announcement on that pretty soon. So anyway, obviously you've seen from the title, you know who our guest is this time. Strangely, the first Kenyan we've had on the show or the podcast, the whatever, the stream. Tekken player for Alpha Play, the reigning Tekken 254 circuit champion. You know him, you love him. It's a man like Mickey.
What's up, guys? You can hear me properly, yeah?
Yeah.
Like loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want Martha to start complaining as usual.
Yeah, how have you been? How's it going? How is the quarantine going? Have you been going out? I assume you
No, I've not been
haven't
going
left
out.
the house personally in like a week.
I don't believe you. You've been so unavailable.
I'm busy in the house. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm busy doing certain things in the house. But how are you spending your quarantine?
Yeah, I've also just stayed indoors. I haven't left. I stopped going to work because I'm not trying to, catch anything and bring it back home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just been home playing lots and lots and lots and lots of tech.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And speaking of that, I'm just going to give PSG a little plug. They're having an online tournament tomorrow. If any of you guys want to join that, spam sneakage on 3 bars,
Are you
it's
gonna
going to
go
be
for the
a
tournament?
blast. Yeah, I signed up. I mean, why not? I'm probably going to spam hatchet kicks with Miguel. It's not going to be that serious. But anyway.
Oh, you're going with me, girl. That's me of you.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me? The connection has gone down.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll just get cracking with the questions. I actually myself and a lot of people in this community have known you for more than 2 years now. But I feel like I've never really sat down and there's certain things I've never asked you at length in terms of like having like a discussion about like how you as a Tekken player basically. So that's basically what we're gonna be doing. So first of all, obviously we know how good you are, but I don't think I've ever properly asked you like how you got into Tekken. What was your first experience with the game? Like, how did you come across it? How did you come across it? First of all, I'll ask a follow up later. But what was your first experience with the game, and like, how did you come across it?
My very first experience with Tekken was Tekken 3, back when I was in, I think, class 1, class 2. And it was just a bunch of us estate kids, we'd just pick some random characters and then we'd spam some stuff.
Pick Christy and spam 3 and 4. That's it.
Eddie. But the weird thing is, a lot of people hate Eddie because of Tekken 3. But for us, it was Horang that was the spammer. You just pick him and just mash X, and none of us knew what to do against it. It was just free wins.
Horang was worse than the couples for you guys, really?
I don't even remember Eddie being in that game. It was Horang who was just taking it.
Serious?
Though I played Shayu. I've always played female characters.
I remember now at some point you mentioned having a crush on Julia.
How can you bring this? I guess we're talking about this then.
Yeah, I mean, that was apparently that was your first game. Julia obviously made her first appearance in Tekken 3.
So. It was weird because I never used to play Julia, but one day I just had this weird dream where we were like in my mom's garden in the backyard, and then we were planting stuff. I don't even know. I've never planted anything in my life, but in the dream we were planting, and she was so pleased with me. And then one thing led to another, and I can't say that on this podcast, but it was a fantastic dream. I liked her since then.
Oh yeah,
Since
that's
that day, I
mad.
knew there was something.
That's mad. Obviously today, I don't know. You seem like you switch mains every week, but I think it's safe to say, like you're a Julia main.
Yes, yes,
Um,
it's very safe to say that.
but yeah. When okay, so obviously Tekken 3 was your first, first foray into Tekken, I guess. But when did you start developing an interest in like properly studying the game, like learning the mechanics and actually getting good at the game?
For me, Tekken 4 was about the time now when I started, like, learning notations, writing
Tekken
down
4?
combos and stuff. Tekken 4.
Serious?
It was me and like one of my classmates in school.
Hmm.
He loved Jin and Paul. And I don't know how we came to know that we both liked Tekken, but we
Hmm.
just started talking about it and we'd make up some dumb, crazy stuff that kids make up about SG moves do what and what. There was a
Hmm.
lot of make believe back in that time, but that's now when we started looking at the game more in depth. We started writing down like all these new combos and stuff.
Hmm.
But I started playing it seriously in Tekken Tag 2.
Hmm.
That's when I actually knew what the hell I was doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, which was like what, 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah,
Towards the
yeah,
end
yeah.
of Tag 2.
Towards the end of Tag 2. So, yeah, yeah, 5, 6 years ago.
And I fell like an
Actually,
absolute
sorry, carry on, carry on, carry on.
I fell in love with that game head over heels. I miss it so much.
Are you
Like I can't wait
serious?
for Tag 3. Tag 2 was just everything for me. The days of Tekken Tag 1, I was already dreaming of Tag 2. I was like, how can they make this game better? I want this game but much better. And every single idea I had, they brought it in Tag 2. I was so happy. I was so happy.
I mean,
I miss it
if
so
the
much.
release history of the series is anything to go by, like Tag 3 is still, it still has to be a Tekken 8 and 9 before we
Don't
say a
talk to me
Tag
like
3.
that. No, 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 no. We've had season 1, 2, 3 for the first time ever. We can
Yeah,
have
it's
taken Tag 3 for
probably
the
gonna
first
be a
time
season
ever.
4 as well.
Yeah, I
The way
think there's
things
a
are going,
season 4
yeah.
coming.
I actually remember, like,
Yeah.
also when I started playing Tekken 5, I remember like writing down combos for Jin. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
like, so I can actually, I would have said if you would have asked me that question of like developing that interest in properly playing the game, I would have just said I started that in Tekken 7. But now that I think about it, Tekken 5 when I was in like, when did Tekken 5 come out? 2007 or 2008. I was in class 5, class
I
6 at
think
the
around
time.
that time.
Yeah, I was in class 5, class 6, and I was in my room like taking down gym combos, and then I go to the Halloween party at Vima and smash everyone. It was fun times.
You've always main Jen from the start?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. How
Jin is my
loyal of
guy,
you.
Archbishop of the Four from the beginning. Okay.
But his 4 only became powerful in Tekken 7. Before it
Well,
was nothing to talk
he's
about,
always had
really,
four.
was it?
He always had forward four, so that's something.
But these days it's just mad. Like between him and Katarina, I don't know whose 4 is better, to be honest.
Well, we can put them on the same level anyway. For now, we'll have this debate another time. Mawira
Okay.
thinks it's Kat. Dark Tempest thinks it's Kat, obviously. I think it's Jin. We'll have that debate another time.
Okay,
Um,
we shall.
so obviously, a lot of us like introduced ourselves to each other at the first Tekken 254 tournament at Trick back in 2017. That still feels like it's so weird. It still feels like it happened the other day, kind of. Like it doesn't feel like it happened too long ago.
Yeah,
Um,
it does.
that was in November 2017. But before that, had you played in any other offline tournaments? Obviously, you said you started taking the game like seriously with Tag 2. Like before that first, second, fourth tournament, were there any other offline tournaments you had played in?
It wasn't per se, but there was this machine at Sarit Center which
Mm,
had that it was when Tekken 6 was being released.
mm,
And Tekken 6 was new.
mm.
That was my first offline experience.
And they had a Tekken 6 arcade cabinet at Sarit.
It wasn't an arcade cabinet, it was a PS4. but it was like bolted to the wall. And it was specifically for Tekken 6. I was so happy. And it was free. So I was there like the whole day just mopping everyone with Christy for some reason. I don't know why I was playing Christy, but yeah, that was my only offline experience before this November 2017 thing. Offline tournament experience.
Interesting, because I know I've seen clips of like guys like doing sessions and like the iHub LAN parties and everything. I guess like none of us had really heard of them. Had ever heard of it. Like I remember several years ago I was looking for like Tekken tournaments because I thought I was so sick with my flashy combos.
Those ones that you had written down.
Yeah, exactly. And I could never find any. But yeah, so that's actually interesting. How, if I could, how did you come across Tekken 24? Was it? I know, I've said this many times to many different people. Obviously, Tekken 24 started as a Facebook group. Like, was that how you found out about Tekken 24 in that first tournament?
If I remember correctly, the way this whole thing started was I found you in a lobby. I just randomly joined a lobby that I saw it had 5 bars for the first time in my life. And I was so excited. I was like, what's going on? Where are you guys from? Where are you guys from? And then I think it was you and Solo. I can't remember exactly. And then someone decided that we should like make this a thing. Like, I don't know, we start like inviting people. That's what I remember. I'm not sure if it's correct or if I dreamt it.
I remember there was a like PlayStation, a PSN community that was set up as well. I don't know if it was you who made that.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, I know it still exists. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, I think you started adding people. You just took over everything, and you just from there it became now all on you, and I was just there following and just cheering you on from behind.
Please,
loving everything.
Stop it. Okay. Yeah. I guess I do remember like the early lobbies and stuff like that, but I feel like the Facebook group started before that. I'm not too sure. I guess that's something could easily just go back and look back on, but it is it's whatever. So obviously all of us have like our favorite like players or people we look up to. Like which players or personalities, if any, do you look up to or do you try to emulate as a player?
At the moment, that question is kind of hard to answer, but I can tell you who I looked up to before. In the days of now Tekken Tag, when I was taking it seriously, I really admired Real Menace.
Real Menace, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's like BFFs with King J.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, I just randomly stumbled onto his channel, and he played Devil Jin and Bob, and I really didn't care for those characters. But the way he played the game, I was smitten. It was just fantastic to watch. And he played so many characters so fluently. I was there struggling with Alisa and Shayu, and that's all I could do. And I was still nowhere near as good as him. So when I saw him playing, I was just absolutely smitten. He was punishing everything. He was dashing to and from the stage. I loved it. And his accent is nice to listen to as well. So that was that.
That Black London accent.
Yes, fantastic.
Well, go on. What are you saying?
And he also sounds very bored sometimes when he's talking, kind of like me when he's commentating. Yeah. So I guess that's where I got it from. Okay. He always sounds so done. Like he just doesn't care. He's just doing 5 electrics and he's so unbothered. I love it. I absolutely love it.
So you said right now that question, do you still consider Real Menace as someone you look up to, or is it just like kind of all over the place right now?
He doesn't stream as much as he used to, which is why like I don't see him much anymore. But yeah, he's like my number. And then, but I don't know. These days, the Koreans, the way they play, it's very it's not how I like Tekken to be. It's very, I don't want to say it's very fun because they are having fun, but it's like too fun for me. They've stopped taking the game seriously because the developers have stopped taking the game seriously, so they're just
Yeah.
having fun.
When we'll get into that later on. I actually have a few questions on that. We'll get into that
Uh,
later.
so
Um, obviously, we all know about the Tekken 254 circuit that started in 2018, and just over just over 2 years later, we've had 3 seasons of that, and you've come out as a champion at the end of each season so far. Um, but in your position, how would you say the the competition has evolved in terms of the level of play? Like, has it been getting progressively harder for you to win tournaments in the last, for the duration of the competition, basically? How, from your position as the best player we have, how have you seen that evolve over the years?
it has been getting much, much, much harder. Like at this point now, it's very neck and neck. Like before, I would go into a tournament and be comfortable.
Mm.
Like I would know there's a move I can do that no one has ever seen. I'll just do it and
Mm.
then it'll work. But
That will
those
win
days
you the
for season
tournament,
one,
yeah.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just go, just pick whoever you want. Someone you guys have never seen. I think you remember in season one, like I never did 2 consecutive tournaments with the same character.
Mm.
I would always pick a new one, and yeah, I'll just do all kinds of foreign stuff, and it'll always work.
Mm.
But nowadays, I can't afford to do that anymore. Now you guys have played so much against each other. You've seen everything that I know.
Mm.
You've learned so much about the game now. I have to like really put in my 100% every time,
Mm.
which I love. I
Mm.
love that.
Just really quickly, King Jay's in the stream. Wagwan. What's good? Welcome. Um, I did. Yeah. Did I even have? I didn't have any follow-ups to that. So you basically said like been getting progressively harder, and obviously as much as he won with Leroy, um, obviously Frost won qualifier one in January, and
With
uh,
a much better Leroy.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. But Leroy pre-enough, but he still put in the work and he still won fair and square. Um,
That's true.
yeah, King J, this is the Ganryu, yes.
Hey, King J, what's up?
Um, so yeah, just moving on to I guess a more open-ended question for you. Um, Obviously, we both know like fighting games in terms of like the bigger esports picture like aren't the most lucrative in terms of prize money or even viewership, um, but they still good money players gain at the big events abroad as well as like a big boost to their social media. Like given the large viewership that these events attract, like if you go to Evo or like other places, you're guaranteed, and you get pretty far in the tournament, you're guaranteed people are gonna know who you are. You know what I mean? Obviously, competitors aren't able to get like benefits on that scale at events here, but in your experience um, so far, how what are some of the things that say you've been able to gain from attending offline tournaments in terms of like the community, the social media, all that sort of stuff? Like, what would you say are some of the things you've managed to gain so far?
The number one thing that I've gained from this whole community is you guys. Just having
Aww.
people that I can level with, they can get like, sometimes I just find myself thinking about Tekken when I shouldn't be thinking about Tekken. And the people around me can't relate. And I could always just open my phone and then just complain about, Fahkumram's Rage Drive or something, and people will respond.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's nice having you guys that I feel somewhere where I can fit in, somewhere I can
Mm,
just be myself and everything will just work out.
mm,
That's the main thing I've gained from this, honestly.
mm.
In
What?
terms of social media and like, fan outreach, I've never really been a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like putting myself out there in terms of that. So that's really comes second to me. I prefer being behind the scenes, boosting other people.
Mm,
I don't really like being on the forefront per se.
mm. prefer being
Yeah.
you prefer being low key and just getting on with
Yeah. I
getting on
prefer
with
being
it.
the support
Interesting.
rather than
But
the main character.
you do have a YouTube channel. Um, that you record all the online sets we have and you make these hilarious edits every month. What I guess I want to find out like what made you start that, or what I guess sort of drove you towards like doing that.
I don't even remember, to be honest, how it started. I think one day I just had a bunch of videos. No, I think maybe I saw something you did. There's a time you did highlights as well, yeah? And then now
Mm-hmm.
you stopped doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I got it from that. I don't remember when I made my first video and why. But ever since then, I had so much fun making it. I decided to keep on making it, keep on making them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now they've become a tradition. But I really can't remember how or why it started. Because the videos I was making before weren't exactly highlights. They were just like research videos. Like I would pick a character,
Sort of labbing or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, stuff that I would look for on the internet and I wouldn't find. I'd be like, okay, let me do this then. So I would
Mm.
make those kinds of defensive lists, which you also used to do.
Mm.
Yeah, and then the highlight videos now, those just became fun for me to do now.
Yeah, and they're really funny to watch. Like, to be fair.
Thank you. I'm glad
Um,
you like them because you guys do really funny stuff.
I mean it's online Tekken, and as you said earlier, the developers themselves have kind of don't take their own game seriously anymore. So, I mean, the rest of us have license to have a bit of fun from time to time.
Yeah, it's very
Pick
true.
Shaheen's spam hop kick. What's the worst that could happen? You know
Ah,
what I
that
mean?
match of yours
Yeah.
was just, I don't know what you were honestly thinking. I still don't understand what logic went through your mind when you did that.
I mean, like it's just having fun at the end of the day. Like it's only I only really like knuckle down and get serious when I go to offline tournaments. Otherwise, like from time to time, I'm just gonna. If I pick Miguel, you should expect like 6 hatchet kicks in a
Oh
row.
gosh.
Like
You've become such a delinquent, such a rogue, you.
yeah. But anyway, obviously something else I didn't mention is travel. I guess a few months after the end of the second 4 circuit season last year, you went to Rocks and Roll Dubai, which was a master event on the Tekken World Tour. And he came joined 65th out of 210 players, which is a respectable result.
Thank you.
What lessons did he manage to take away, like gameplay-wise, from the tournament, first of all, and how did he find that entire experience overall? Not just the tournament, but like the whole trip. How was that experience?
The whole trip was scary. It was
Serious.
quite scary because that was the first time I was ever traveling alone and that far. I didn't
Serious.
think I was going to be alone, but yeah, I went there. I knew nobody. There was Robbie, but we met towards the end.
Mm,
So for like the first 4 days, I was just all by myself.
mm.
And I didn't have my console. I didn't have anyone to lab with. I was just there, just in a foreign land. But they had the best malls. The malls in Dubai are fantastic. And if you know me, malls are my favorite thing. So
Mm,
that's what I kept busy with. And
yeah.
I loved that part. But when it came to the actual tournament, like the gameplay and stuff, uh, I don't know if I've really explained the story of what happened.
Mm. Well,
But
obviously you can explain like your whole run in detail, but you Ulsan sent you to losers, and then you were knocked out by a Pakistani player called Kashif, if I remember correctly.
from a Lily player.
Yeah, a Lily player. Ugh, oh Lord.
Oh, my
Yuck.
goodness.
But
I
anyway,
never would have thought.
but anyway, obviously you can take us through like your whole run and like sort of stuff you managed to take away from that.
Okay. I had recorded some stuff on my phone, but I was planning to get a new phone, so I didn't record much on that phone because I was going to make a video that summarized everything. So the videos I have aren't enough. So that's why I haven't released anything.
Mm-hmm.
But so basically, here's what happened. I showed up. They gave me my tag. I was in group 8. I showed up at 10 a.m. I was in group 8. Group 8 was playing like at 4 p.m. And the place was so far from my venue, so I had to just sit there and wait as I watch people getting knocked out, everyone sets up and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was in a mall, so it was fine. It was sale, so it was very fine. So yeah, I didn't warm up, which was my biggest mistake. There was some boots and then of course you're walking around and then you just see Nee casually walking around, you see Fergus, you see friends that I've met online that are walking around, and you just get starstruck. And I couldn't for the life of me, just be like, just go say like, hey, what's up? I'm Mickey. Can we take a selfie? It was so hard for me.
Yeah.
It was so hard. So the whole time I mostly kept to myself the whole time, so I didn't warm up. So when it came time to play, my first match wasn't Ulsan.
Ulsan was your second one, right?
Match. Yeah, it was my second one.
Yeah.
My first match was with another friend who I used to play with all the time online on PS3, but on PS4 our connection doesn't work. So yeah, we played, and then as I'm playing, I picked Julia because I was so confidently gonna go through with Julia because she was like super strong.
Yeah.
And then I'm pressing things, and then she keeps jumping. I do forward 4-3, she jumps. I do forward anything, she jumps. So what I think is that my controller, being in the bag that it was the whole time, something weird happened. Because I did have that problem before, but it was manageable. I got used to it. But then I don't know if it was the humidity or the heat, but now the controller became completely messed up. So I panicked. I did manage to win because Julia, of course, is super strong.
It kind of plays herself in a
That's
sense.
true.
Yeah.
I luckily I had a backup controller, but my backup was also very crappy. I had not planned on using that backup. It was supposed to be a worst comes to worst situation, and by match 1 it was already worst had come to worst. I had no other choice, so I had this other crappy controller that I had to use. And then now I couldn't use Julia because she's very execution heavy. So I decided to not pick Josie. I still used Julia for Ulsan, but I messed up so many combos. Like I told you this, when I was fighting Ulsan, I didn't feel like I was on the back foot.
Yeah.
I didn't feel overwhelmed. I didn't feel like I was making too many mistakes. But the things I was doing just were not working. And at the time I didn't know. Like I'd get a launch and the combo just drops. She just keeps jumping. I try to sidestep, she jumps. And it just messed me up. That's when I switched after I lost. I stuck to Josie. I won a few matches.
Just out of curiosity, who did Ulsan pick? Was it Kazumi? Was it Bob?
He used Kazumi.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had forgotten that her down forward 1 is supposed to be sidestep right and not left. I kept stepping left, so I kept getting flipped by it.
Yeah.
There was no one to tell me otherwise. It just hit me after. I was like, shit. It's so small, something I should have known for the longest time. And yeah, that's what got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that match ended. I switched to Josie. I did more matches. Now with the Lily player, I swear, I had won that match. I had rage. She messed up. I did forward 1+2.
Just hold on. Just hold on. I'm gonna use one of Nicolas Ngati's lines from the last tournament. If you can't tell, he's quite salty right now.
It's very true. I was so upset. I was so mad. Because it was 2-0. I was up 2-0 last match. I was gonna win. Forward 1+2, I had rage. Go to do the rage drive. Nothing happened. The control, it just And then from there, everything just crumbled down. I lost that match. We went to the final round. 3-2. I lost to some bullshit cartwheel. He was playing Lily in a way I'd never seen Lily being played before. And yeah, so I messed up some key punishes, and I I fully blame the controller. Those are things I should not have been losing to. I was so mad. I was so mad.
But
So yeah,
in any case, that's like, um, obviously that's one lesson I guess you can take away from that. Like, you know, when you go into a big tournament, like make sure your controllers are on point.
warm
Um,
up. Always
and
warm
warm
up.
up, yeah. Obviously, locally, that's something personally I never have a chance to do because I also have to run the tournament.
That's true.
Like half the time I wonder how I get into top 3. I'm here messing up my combos and everything, and I'm like it's weird. But yeah, was there anything? So like besides that, there was nothing else you took away from how people were playing? Obviously, you were around like a lot of international talent. You like got to see like the Pakistani players. I can't remember who it is. Was it Awais Hani that won that tournament? I can't even remember. But the point is like you obviously got to see a lot of international players up close. Like, was there anything you managed to take away from how they were playing, or were you just like enjoying yourself and just like watching them do the thing?
What I took away was from that match of me against Ulsan.
Mm-hmm.
When I was playing him,
Mm-hmm.
the Tekken he was playing and the Tekken I was playing were very different.
Okay.
I was playing a very online Tekken. He was playing offline completely.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing the correct punishes for everything, like his movement and his jabs, in situations where I'm so used to like not being able to be punished because I would have recovered by then. But then everything was so crisp and perfect in a way that it can only be offline. Yeah. So I needed to get used to that. The way he was reacting to everything I did was in a way that can only be done offline. Online, you're so used to doing setups. You're like, okay, you're gonna do this into this. It's not very like I'm gonna watch and see what you do. It's very, I'm just gonna set this up and hope it works. And from then, I stopped doing that. But then when I came back to Kenya, and then I tried implementing that, especially online, it's impossible. You sidestep into jabs, everything is blocked. It's just like you have to fall back to these online strats in order to get anywhere, and you try not to, but what can you do?
Yeah, and I guess on that front, obviously, everyone says this that like offline is obviously, and it's true, playing offline is obviously much better than playing online, because play online you develop these habits that you're talking about that aren't gonna help you in offline tournaments. But then I feel like this is the only period where like play online is justified, because literally there's nothing any of us can do about it. Like Corona's running around putting everyone in rage, so there's nothing.
It's all we have right now.
Yeah, it's all we have right now. So then moving on, the Tekken community in Kenya has been like growing steadily over the past few years, but obviously compared to other communities like FIFA, Fortnite, it's still quite small. So in your own mind, I guess this is linked to what we were just talking about, but in your own mind, well, what are some of the things you do more often to get more people playing Tekken and fighting games in general? Obviously, there's, I guess one thing you would say is more offline sessions, but I don't know if there's anything else you have in mind that, if you could do, you'd do more often to sort of get more people into the game.
I don't think there's anything else we can do that we're not doing already. Is what I see may be holding us back is that at the level we are, and we are the same people introducing newcomers, that we have to, it just doesn't work. There's no way I can be like, oh, you should come play Tekken, it'll be fun. And then we come to play, and then you have no idea what's going on. And then I have to start explaining a whole novel worth of things. It's not easy. But I feel like what we're doing is already working. There are people still joining, and I do try and teach people one-on-one about Tekken, the ones who really have the passion for it, which I think is super necessary for Tekken. You have to really have a passion for Tekken, otherwise you'll just fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and it doesn't really help. Fine. It doesn't really help that the game doesn't do the best job of teaching you how to play it. Obviously, season 3 that's slightly improved. But it's there's still so much more work you need to put in yourself if you're gonna get good at the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the main problem. It's not us who are not doing the work. It's just the game is just so hard to get into. It needs now. I don't know. It needs like better something. So a bunch of casuals pick it up. So that now they can fight amongst themselves and then grow amongst themselves, and then now they can start joining our tournament. Because for us now, it's just like we're introducing people to come play tournament. We're not introducing people to like just enjoy the game, which I think is the problem. It's what's slowing us down rather. But what can we do about that?
That's fair enough. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna. I had to put a pin on the comment you made about like the development of the game. I guess now we're gonna go back to that. We'll start with.
Where are my notes?
Okay. I see you came ready. We'll start with our boy Fahkumram. Okay. He's obviously.
Go on.
He's obviously been out for how long has it been? 2 weeks. He's been out for 2 weeks now, and that command throw has made him like an instant fan favorite. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen you personally really play much, but like, I guess what are your thoughts on him and his design so far? And now this is where I put my mic down and just let you rant.
His design, first of all, is all right. I tend to favor the larger characters. So I'm happy with his design. It's a bit noisy and whatnot, but it's fine.
With all the tattoos and scars and everything,
It's a lot. But the sound effects, his animations, they've done everything else very well. But that's in terms of how he looks.
Yeah.
Or when it comes to how he plays, and more specifically when you're playing against him, I have no idea what they were thinking, but they were not thinking correctly. I am so fed up of Fahkumram. I'm so fed. He's very easy to play. He has more depth than Leroy, so not everyone is hopping on that train.
That's true, yeah.
Which I think is why he's flying under the radar, because we experienced Leroy, and he's not on that level.
Yeah.
But if we had not experienced Leroy and then Fahkumram was released, I swear.
we'd all be holding up our pitchforks, yeah.
The reception wouldn't be this casual.
Yeah.
I've tried playing him, of course, and he's super easy. He does so much damage on his basic. His BNBs are his max damage. And that concept makes no sense to me. Then he is making, him and Leroy are single-handedly making so mmany characters obsolete. So many. There's like so little reason to pick Josie now. There's little reason to pick, I don't know, Bob, Jack. Because he is a very big character, but he has none of the disadvantages of being a big character.
Yeah, that's true.
He has the better movement. He has a fantastic sidestep.
I remember telling you at some point, like when the first day I was labbing him, I was saying like he's basically Miguel with a slightly worse sidestep. And he doesn't have Miguel's hard box in terms of like the combos you can do on him, which makes no sense.
I'm just from playing an online session against Fahkumram.
Yeah.
And the amount of stuff that usually works but is not working on him is astronomical. Every 5 seconds, I've made so many clips. Every 5 seconds, you do something, it just doesn't work on him. Like Julia's 1-2-1-2 on the back.
That doesn't work?
The last hit just whiffed for no reason whatsoever. And it's not all the time. The weird thing is that recreating these things in practice mode is almost impossible. I try and go back to practice mode and recreate, and I can't do it. But in a match, I'm rolling on the ground and he does his rage drive and I get clipped. and I lose like what 50, 60 health just for side rolling on the ground. But in practice mode, I try and make it happen. It's working.
Wait. When you side roll on the ground, like the knee still lifts you up. Like
yeah,
the
it
whole
lifted
thing.
me up and
Serious?
threw me down again. Yes. And I lost the match like that.
That's messed up. What the hell? I didn't know that.
I don't know how to explain it. In practice mode, I can't do it. But online, he's backdashing everything. He's sidestepping everything. He's just impossible. He's just not there.
He's a ghost.
And yet he's always reaching you. He has no trouble reaching.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there's like no reason to play Jack anymore. Absolutely no reason. There's no reason to play Bears. No reason to play Josie. Like, just so many characters is just like, what they do, Fahkumram does way better.
Yeah.
I'm so upset with this character.
Is that your rant done? Or are there still a few more things you want to touch?
Let me just end with this. I don't think he's broken. I just think he's very spoiled. My problem isn't that he's too strong. My problem is that he is taking away too much spotlight from other characters. And it's not fair. He has the best of everything, and it's not fair to the rest of us who don't want to play him, who have to face him, true. And then our characters. It's not fair. Yeah. It's not fair. That's all I have to say.
That makes sense.
About him.
That was as much as I was joking about that was a rant, that was actually quite insightful. Like there's really nothing to add to that. Like, you know, Fahkumram's just Fahkumram. 14 frame command throw.
I broke it for the first time in my life today. I'm so happy. But it was once out of 20 times.
When I tell you, I don't know if you were in the session at the time. There was this time I was playing Batusai, and he grabbed me with it twice in a row. He grabbed me once, I couldn't break it. I woke up, he ran up, grabbed me again, I couldn't break it, and I died. I was like, okay, like, it's all good, I'm fine. You know, if that's how it's gonna be, so it's
not fine. It's not fine.
I'm fine. No, I'm not fine, but I'm fine. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely crazy.
Anyway, moving on.
And it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Everything about him is so easy compared to other characters. It's just like, why? Why are you spoon feeding Tekken players so much? My gosh. Anyway,
yeah, moving on. We're gonna zoom out from Fahkumram.
Okay.
Move into the game. The game in general. Okay. So like some of the changes are made for season 3. You know, easier wall bounces in terms of like the angle it hits. You can pretty much wall bounce from any angle unless you're like perpendicular to the wall. That's when it doesn't work. And more wall bounce moves for all characters. Obviously, Jin's forward 1+2 became a wall bounce. I'm still not complaining. You know, sidestep forward 1+2 is the new meta.
My God.
Yeah, I'm not the same way they gave him that new Magic 4 in season 2. I was like, he didn't need this, but you know what? I'm not complaining. I'll take it. I will gladly take it. You know what I mean? And now with the Mishima buffs, like pretty much every health sweep in the game has some good tracking. So I basically just want to find out, like you said earlier, the developers aren't taking the game seriously anymore. I'm gonna take that as a sort of tongue-in-cheek comment, but there's some truth to it, obviously. Like, what are your opinions like on the direction the game is going in general, like just overall?
I think the developers clearly know who they want to be strong. They know very well who they want to be. They know very well who they don't want the spot. Because if you compare the buffs, Gigas, or just those ones that are at the bottom of the list, if you compare the buffs they're getting to just the 2 buffs that Kazuya got, you can't compare.
Yeah.
They have not given them anything as crazy. They clearly, in fact, they didn't even need it. They very much didn't need it, but they gave it to them anyway. So I feel like they know who they want to be strong, and it's not who I'm playing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's who they're selling to us. They want the DLC to be strong. They want the new characters to be strong, and they want the faces of Tekken.
Yeah, the poster boys, the Mishimas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate because I, as you know, I've started playing Chloe recently.
Yeah.
And
Well, hold on. Pump the brakes. You've had a Chloe for years, but you just discarded her in the trash, and recently you sifted through the trash and you took her back. That's what happened. You didn't pick her up recently.
Yes, I went dumpster diving for a bit, and I found her, and I fell in love with her. Her gameplay is so fun. Like, they really captured such a good spark with this character. She has personality. She has the charisma. She has the mechanics. She has mechanics that are completely unique.
Charisma is subjective, but carry on.
She has charisma. What do you mean? She's a bundle of joy, a ray of sunshine, a beacon of light.
We'll have that debate another time.
Anyway, yes, she has all these interesting mechanics.
Yeah.
But then her biggest thing has always been her damage.
Yeah.
She has very small pokes. She has poor range, poor punishment, but she had the damage. But as the seasons go by, everyone else is getting the same damage. Everyone else is getting that damage, and it's super easy for them. For Chloe, you have to be in a certain stance, or you have to crush some certain move. For them, just launching, you get the damage. Which has made Chloe absolutely, like, at this point, there's zero reason to pick her. She is fun, yes. But if I come across a Paul who is spamming Death Fist or Demoman, there's nothing I can do. She cannot touch those two moves. And it's just like, then why am I playing Chloe? Why am I putting myself in this? There's so much she can't punish for no reason. And everyone else has been getting better punishes, has been getting better damage, but she's just been, she got an armored wall bounce. And her hopcake was no longer minus 17, now it's minus 15. Which is not really a buff to her. It's a nerf to characters who don't have 15 punches, which I really don't get the angle that the developers are going with these changes, but what can we do? It's very wasteful. Some really cool concepts like Eliza, unique gameplay, fantastic gameplay.
Yeah, I genuinely like Eliza, her design, like her gameplay, as much as people hate the 2D characters. Like, there's, I don't know how to explain. Like, she has the potential to be like a very popular character. Like, but
she
it's
does.
just but it's so unfortunate that she's just absolute dumpster trash. Like, for no reason.
It's
I know,
so
like Wife Warrior has been shedding a tear in the chat this whole time. Like, it's so unfortunate. Even as much as I like shitting on him sometimes, Lee. Like, Lee actually, like, with his whole, like, personality and his story and everything, like, he's, it's a cool concept, but
such a wonderful character.
Yeah, but the way he plays is just, like, what reason do you have to pick Lee? Like,
zero reason to pick Lee. Everyone does the same damage he did. Everyone has the same wall carry he had. There's no reason. And his pokes are not getting buffed, so now everyone's getting the same damage and keeping their good pokes. Lee is staying with his same damage and keeping his bad pokes.
I mean, if all you want to do is contort your fingers now, like, then pick Lee. Contort your fingers.
Pick Lee, pick Eliza.
Contort your fingers for 60 damage. Like,
go ye for. There are people who like that.
I mean, we could call them masochists. Like, I guess that's
so unfortunate.
That's subjective. But why do that when you have Fahkumram, for example, and his straightforward combos that do a million?
No reason. Just shell out $3 or however much, and get your character. You have no reason to pick anyone else.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to our Lord and Savior, Michael Murray. Before, and I know some people might have some looks on their faces. I'm not here to like say anything bad about him or whatever. And despite all of this stuff, like I still very much like Tekken 7. For me, it's the best game in the series. In my own opinion, what they've done with this game so far is like fantastic. And Fahkumram, despite all his weirdnesses and that 14 frame command through, like they've done a good job with that character. Personally, I like his design. He has an interesting story. I still don't get why they haven't done character episodes for the DLC characters, but anyway. Obviously, a man like Murray has been getting quite a bit of flack for comments he's made on Twitter recently, like why sidestep when you can block and launch. Obviously, a very not the best thing to say, but it seems like on many fronts, like criticism sort of escalated to ridicule. Like when you go on Reddit and other things, like it's just escalated from like constructive criticism to just outright making fun of the guy. And it's gotten to a point where he doesn't even want to interact with the community on Twitter anymore. So like, as much as he hasn't handled things too well recently, like what's your take on how the community reacted to the whole situation?
I think the community's reaction is a bit much. However, I feel like he asked for it. And at first, I thought it was all just a joke. I thought he was in on, that's something I would say.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah, just something to say to get under people's skin.
Yeah,
just to be a dick. Yeah.
But then now when he made his Twitter private and he said he's done talking to us, then so what exactly was what were we supposed to do? Be like, you know what, you're absolutely right. We're being silly. Let's just accept what you've decided for the game to be and just go with it. I don't know exactly what he thought was going to happen when he tweeted that, but I'm not surprised at the reaction. I'm surprised at his reaction a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think like that negativity from the community is coming from a vocal minority, or is it basically as a result of the State of Leroy release and like his recent comments? Like, is it like Leroy came out and he was broken and everyone was pissed, and like that whole fallout has just been dumped on Murray? Like, do you think it's that, or is it just like a vocal minority? As I said, there's people like me who still very much like this game. It does have its problems. I never shy away from saying the Tekken's netcode is dumpster trash. But I still like the game. I still like to play it because it's Tekken. You know what I mean? So like what's your opinion on that? The negativity surrounding the community. Is it like just a vocal minority on Twitter and Reddit, or is it like Leroy and then Murray's comments and then just
I don't think it's a vocal minority. I don't think there's a single person that is happy with what has happened to Tekken. I mean, we're still playing it. Even the people complaining are still playing it, still loving the game. But it almost feels like a slap on the face, the decisions they've made of late. And I'm really not surprised at how the community is reacting. Because we had Leroy released how he was, and he lasted for however long he did. Despite us, trying to, tell him like, yo, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then now they're bringing the things we didn't like about Leroy and sprinkling them onto other characters. And it's like they're missing the point. We're not complaining that Leroy is special. We're complaining that what he's doing, it should not be okay. But it's like they're trying to normalize Leroy by giving the same properties to these other characters while neglecting the characters that have been in the game from the beginning, minus Kazuya, minus the Mishimas, of course. But now these are other characters. They're not getting that kind of love.
The Lees, the Gigases,
they're not. I don't think it's a vocal minority.
Interesting.
However, I feel like these changes that they've made now, they have been made intentionally in this period because there are no tournaments going on. I feel like now is when they're like, okay, if we want to test something, we should test it now. And I think that's what they're doing. I don't think that 14 frame throw was an accident, as how he put it, because there's no way of all the throws you programmed.
An accident, like, surely.
It makes no sense. Yeah, so I feel like they're really testing a lot for now, since there's like no major events happening. Yeah, so what was the question again?
No, you answered it.
Yeah.
You answered it. So yeah, just to round off, I think so far this is probably gonna be the longest episode we've done of the Soul Factory so far. We've been going for almost an hour and a half.
Oh really?
But it's
already?
but it's been enjoyable in any case. We'll just wrap up with the last one. Something I ask all the other guests we've had, except maybe Mr. 5000, because he plays MK, but I still asked him. Tekken 7 top 5 for you personally. Obviously, we have our community tier list, but everyone, despite that, everyone has their own individual opinions on the game and their own individual approaches to the game. So for you, Tekken 7 top 5. Yeah. Well, obviously Leroy is gonna be in there.
Leroy is definitely number one.
Yeah. So
he's still my number one.
Yeah. That's a given. The other 4, I guess.
The other 4. Oh wow. I don't want to say Fahkumram is top 5. I don't want to say that because we haven't seen everything he's capable of. And we haven't seen how the characters can handle his stuff yet. Yeah.
It's still quite early yet to make like a concrete like conclusion on him. Yeah.
But he's definitely very strong. Top 10 for sure.
Top 10, yeah.
What a spoiled character. But yes, besides Leroy and Fahkumram, my top 5 would be.
So we're just not counting those 2.
I don't want to count those 2.
Okay.
I don't want to count those
2. Okay.
My top 5. I really want to put Julia in there, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I don't think there's anything she can't do. Besides not having a 10 frame wall split, what can't she do?
I said earlier, she kind of plays herself. Obviously, to get like the really good stuff, that requires execution. But I mean, she, as you said, like there's nothing she can't do really.
There's no time you'd ever feel like, oh, maybe in case if you really want a parry, so some strings she can't parry, of course, the other characters can. But besides that, she has an armored wall bounce.
Yeah. Oh my God, forward this is so dumb. Such a dumb move. Oh my goodness, man.
It is very dumb. It is very dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly.
So Julia.
In no particular. Let me not put an order. She's in my top 5, but I don't know in what order. Next is Paul. Paul is definitely up there. Paul and Law, let's put them together.
Paul and Law.
Those ones are that. Yeah. Because again, nothing they can't do, nothing they can't punish. They run the show. When they're playing, it's their game against yours. So there's those 3. Not Jin and not Devil Jin. But they're very close. But I don't know. Not top. I don't think they're top 5. There has to be some better character. Not Ganryu, not Kazumi, not Akuma. Not Akuma.
Okay.
His damage is still the best in the game.
Well, Geese, I feel like Geese has that title right now with his Deadly Rave.
But they nerfed it a bit, and that's only in Rage.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Or with Akuma, his damage is just as long as it's a wall stage, you're losing all your health still. But he's too hard to play. It's too hard to get that out of him. So I don't want to put him in top 5. The other characters that are listed, you don't need all that to do the same kind of damage. You don't.
Yeah, Julia, Paul, Law.
Julia Paul.
Maybe once you're done with this, King J is asking where would he put Ganryu? So
I was actually
once
thinking about Ganryu, but no.
top 10?
Top 10, not top 5. Top
Okay.
10. Ganryu is so good. It's so cheap.
Yeah.
It's so cheap.
2-1-2 alone is that's the dumbest, one of the dumbest.
That move is
strings.
criminal. It's
That is
straight
one of-
robbery.
I
love it. I love it.
I could sit here for like another half hour just complaining about that string. But anyway.
He's too good. But the problem is now he's often as good as he's once you guess right, a low parry in this game is a lot of damage nowadays. Duck a single high, sidestep a single move, and you've killed him.
Yeah.
But his tracking is good, his pokes are good, his range is bad. That's why I don't want to put him in top 10.
Top 5.
But again, I don't want to put him in top 5, but he's definitely top 10. Alyssa, how could I forget Alyssa?
Okay.
People are sleeping on Alyssa.
I also feel like she's an underrated top tier. I don't think too many people realize how good Alyssa is.
She's so
especially
underrated.
In season 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The only weakness she has is her 2-4. As a 12 frame, it doesn't punish as much as the ones I've listed. It doesn't have the best range. Yeah. It's a very lackluster. But besides that, everything else she has is crazy. It's crazy. But she's so boring to play. She's so boring to fight. I guess that's why people are sleeping on her. Like she's actually putting people to sleep. But she's so good. She's so good.
Well, she's putting some people to sleep, and she's shoving salt in other people's mouths.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am obviously a notable victim, but we won't talk about that too much.
I hope there's a GIF somewhere of you doing that, throwing that mouse, murdering that mouse. I need to get that GIF.
Okay, I'll be waiting on
Please.
that. Julia Paul, Law, Alyssa. Last one.
Yeah. I can't choose. There's a lot of strong contenders. It could be Steve, it could be Jin, it could be Brian, it could be so many people. Geese, Kazumi, Zafina. But I don't know who is the best out of all of those ones. But the 4 I've listed, those ones, they're unrivaled.
So just you know we'll do this just for the sake, because you can't decide. We'll just bring back Leroy and stick him in there.
Yeah. Leroy.
Yeah. Julia Paul or Alyssa, Leroy. Okay.
Those are my top 5 in the game.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this. I was gonna say this when he said you don't think Akuma is top 5. I was gonna say that's like an unpopular opinion. Not only you, but quite a few of us in this community have. And we've talked about this all the time. When people say a character like Feng isn't strong, we're like, what do you mean?
How?
Which Feng players are you coming across? But that's a discussion for another time. Even King J was asking Akuma. But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Mickey, thank you for joining us on
Thank
this.
you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. Very insightful. Again, I think the longest episode we've had so far. Thanks to everyone again for joining the stream. And yeah, we'll be back again. This is supposed to be a monthly thing, but again, I said earlier, I've been lazy with this. We should have had 3 other episodes already. But yeah, I just want to go back to there's something someone in the chat said earlier. It was King J and his Clip That podcast. You can reach out to any of us whenever, wherever, and I'm sure we'd be happy to do that. There's not only me and Mickey. There's other good players in this community that I'll probably feature at some point, like Frost, Dark Tempest, and all these other guys. Extra, I feel like flies under the radar a lot, but on tournament day he just
he shoots up and just shakes us all up.
Everyone eats a tombstone and a giant swing. It's like how, but yeah. That's gonna be basically. Thanks to all of you guys for joining us as usual. This is gonna go up on YouTube and AfriPods later tonight. So if you missed the live stream, don't worry. You can listen to our voices as you're making your lasagna in quarantine and all that stuff. But
Lasagna.
yeah.
How bougie.
I mean, why? There's no better time to treat yourself than right now. I feel like.
True.
So yeah. In any case, thanks to everyone again for joining. Stay tuned. We have more stuff coming up.
And thank you for getting King J to come. I'm so glad. Yeah. I've been so nervous this whole time.
Yeah, people were telling King J in the chat like how much of a fanboy you are, and I guess he missed you talking about Real Menace earlier. But yeah, again, nothing else to say. Everyone stay safe. Wash your hands, and just stay home. Stay home. We don't need any of us dying and catching corona. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 feet minimum.
Yes. So yeah, thanks again to everyone for joining. We'll see you next time. Peace.